Good afternoon. Welcome to the early bird edition of my Ask Me Anything. So I'm Dr. Twyman, board certified cardiologist, who focuses on the early detection of atherosclerosis so I can help people reduce the risk of having a heart attack and stroke so they can lead their best lives. I've been doing these Instagram lives, Ask Me Anythings, for approximately 5 years. There's a large archive in my Instagram live kind of pages, but oftentimes if you go back onto my YouTube channel, drtwyman.tv / the link, a lot of these will be on my YouTube channel, and there'll be transcripts involved as well. So thank you for those that inquired about how myself and Apollo Cardiology were doing with the storms from last week. It was actually pretty wild. We're in the 12th floor of the University Club building, and we saw the storms rolling in. And the hail was pretty intense, pounding the windows. Water did leak into my office, but the windows held. But apparently the window right below us did not hold. It blew out, and glass went all over their office and sucked down all their ceiling tiles. The tornado that hit St. Louis started less than a half mile north of my office, and there was a lot of tree damage on the roads around the office. Amazingly, and unfortunately, 5 people did lose their lives in the storm, but it could have been way worse. I was out yesterday kind of surveilling some of the damage in Forest Park, trying to help out in some of the neighborhoods, and it's unbelievable how many big trees are down. So still a lot of work to be done. Fortunate not a greater loss of life, and glad that everybody is getting the help that they need for the time being. But if you're in the St. Louis area, you can look for the kind of areas where you need more help. It's on the St. Louis Today website, has it. The Reddit pages have it. But we got a little bit lucky. We just went to a nearby church, and there's people that are gathering up to go out and kind of clean up debris. But if you're in the St. Louis area and you have the free time, it'd be very nice to be able to help out people if you can. So I've got a few questions that I want to answer this afternoon for you guys. And then I got some things I got to do a little bit later, so I couldn't do it at my usual 6 p.m. time. So first question up tonight is about sodium. So why is too much salt bad for the heart? It depends. Not everybody is salt sensitive, but people who are, they tend to have increases in their blood pressure when they have a certain volume of salt. It tends to make their arteries stiffer. The way it does this is it affects, in part, the glycocalyx, the gel coat that lines the arteries. Sodium is buffered in the glycocalyx. If your glycocalyx is disrupted, more sodium will tend to cause increases in your aldosterone levels. You'll then hold on to more water, and that will tend to raise your blood pressure. So not everybody's salt sensitive. Some people are actually too low in their salt, so you have to kind of play around with how much sodium is right for you. But if you have heart failure, you have kidney failure, then you need to talk to your doctor about what dose of sodium they really want you to be on. I'm seeing some familiar faces. I know I'm going to see one of these people tomorrow, so looking forward to seeing you and your family. What are the best ways to improving heart rate variability in a postmenopausal woman? Great question. First, make sure you're measuring heart rate variability accurately. I've been using an Oura Ring for 9 years. It worked for some people. My heart rate variability is immensely low on this. Never gets better even through the 3rd generation. So I ignore that feature. I go more by how I feel, how my sleep is, how my exercise performance is. So first, if you don't know what your heart rate variability is, by using a chest strap, get yourself a chest strap. 2 of the better ones tend to be the Morpheus chest strap. This is what this one is, which can give you your training zones. I also have the Frontier X2, which is even more sensitive during exercise and can give you a 1 lead EKG. But you can plug those data into apps like Elite HRV and figure out what your resting HRV truly is. But focusing on high quality recovery and sleep, those are the biggest things. 7 to 9 hours of good sleep. Try not to eat too close to bedtime so the liver and gut clocks can shut off. Make sure your circadian rhythms are dialed in if you can do that more optimally. So bright light during the day, lots of sunlight outside, inside, in front of screens, protect your eyes so you're not causing more oxidative stress in your retinas. So blue blockers, particularly sunset to time to go to bed, would be ideal. And then for postmenopausal, it doesn't matter exactly if you're on them or not, but if you're on hormone replacement therapy, make sure your levels are in the optimal zones. So start with those tips. But heart rate variability, it's a interesting metric, but don't hold your all your cards in. Like if it's low, that you something bad is going to happen to you vascular-wise, or that you can't train that day. It's if you feel like training and you can perform in the gym, keep pushing it. All right. Is there any merit to the DASH diet for high blood pressure? Yes. The DASH diet stands for the dietary approach to stop hypertension. It is one of the diets that has some significant data at helping reduce blood pressure on the order of approximately what one medication would. So may lower the systolic blood pressures, 8, 9, 10 points. It's not going to lower from, 180 millimeters of mercury all the way back down to 120 millimeters of mercury. It's a tool. But the main benefit of the DASH diet is that it's going to be high in dietary nitrates, which can promote nitric oxide. It'll have a lot of vegetables in it that have a lot of potassium and particularly magnesium in them. There'll be omega-3s, there'll be monounsaturated fat. So think of it as kind of a specialized version of a Mediterranean type diet. Any upcoming podcast appearances? I've been on at least one or two in the past couple weeks, waiting for the host to announce when those are going to be published, and when they are, I'll release that information here. I'm going to be return visiting guest to Dr. Gabrielle Lyon's show coming up in June. We'll talk all things updated on vascular health. We want to try to focus more on the kind of like nitric oxide, glycocalyx, but some biohacking topics come in there. I'm happy to jump down those rabbit holes with her. And then said that somebody had started doing a good podcast with another doctor. I haven't had a chance to check that one out, but I'll try to in the near future. All right. And then the last pre-submitted question was about Ozempic or semaglutide. Is it cardioprotective? In some cases it is. They have studied it in patients who have diabetes. Those patients benefit. Patients with heart failure benefit. Patients with severe coronary disease may benefit. It does have effect on endothelial function. If you have heart disease, should you stay on it? Well, if you're not diabetic, the benefits are less. The absolute risk reduction is less than 2% while on it. So it's risk versus benefit. It's actual cost as well. If you're paying out of pocket for it, you got to weigh that, versus other options. If you're overweight, probably still beneficial. If it's helping eliminate some of the food noise so that you're making better food choices, possibly. But if your body composition's dialed in, you don't have a lot of inflammation, you're not diabetic at the time, then potentially consider, the ability to come off of it. Ultimately, it'll probably be shown that the Mounjaro, where you have the GIP blockade as well, will probably be even more beneficial, but those studies are ongoing. So right now, only for vascular patients is semaglutide been studied with outcome data. So see somebody from Brazil, amazing. So yeah, if you come to our office at Apollo, we have a cork board up now that has a map. We couldn't get a map big enough for the world, so we have people kind of write in for that. Right now we're just having people from different states and cities put a pin in this board, and in 1 month you'd be amazed how many places people have come from. So we have started in St. Louis in August of 2019, but the practice has grown almost exponentially in the past 5 years. Now we take care of patients from, can't even count how many states it is. Top of mind, it's well above 30, might be approaching 40 states. And then country-wise, we've had people fly in from Canada, Bermuda, Dubai, Australia. That's just off the top of my head. So international. So vascular disease is still #1 killer almost everywhere. Vascular disease is imminently treatable if you go looking for the root causes. 5 main ones, but those aren't enough. High blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, smoking, obesity, common, but even those aren't always measured optimally. Ideally, you're looking at central aortic blood pressure. For lipids, you're looking at lipoproteins, not just cholesterol. For diabetes, you're also looking at insulin. You're looking at insulin resistance scores, potentially looking at adiponectin. Then for obesity, it's not about what your scale weight is, it's about your visceral fat, how much lean muscle mass you have. So those are just 5 things, but there may be up to 400 things that damage the arteries. And as one of my mentors, Dr. Mark Houston, taught me, infinite insults to the arteries, but only 3 responses: oxidative stress, inflammation, and autoimmune dysregulation. And with a lot of the testing that we do at Apollo, we can figure out which pathway has diminished. Is it something that you can fix with a lifestyle intervention? Is it a supplement that you can tweak that you're deficient in? Or are pharmaceuticals the best option for you? So if you're potentially interested in having us do that for you, we're still open to new patients. Right now I'm booking out about 3 months into the future. So I don't know how long I'll be able to take new patients, but going to keep it open for as long as I can. But if you're interested, go to my website, drtwyman.com. There's an application up in the top right corner. And then someone from my team will set up an onboarding call with you. Make sure that we're a good fit for the issues that you're interested in having us work with you for. So was going to make this one a little bit short and sweet. Just wanted to let people know that, yes, we're doing okay after the tornadoes on Friday. Apollo, had some leakage in the windows, but we're all doing well. Thank you for checking in on us. Hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time, and we'll do this all over again, answer some questions for you, trying to keep you guys heart attack proof. So have a great week, guys.